UK Prime Minister Boris Johnson has welcomed Canada's Prime Minister Justin Trudeau and Prime Minister of the Netherlands Mark Rutte to a meeting near London to discuss the Ukraine crisis. Officials say it is important for the three nations as close partners to coordinate their response efforts. Laura Macon-Isherwood has more from London.
UK Prime Minister Boris Johnson met with Canada's Prime Minister Justin Trudeau and Prime Minister of the Netherlands Mark Rutte at an RAF base north of London on Monday. It was the first leg of a tour Mr Trudeau is taking around Europe, where he's set to meet different leaders from different European nations in order to discuss the crisis in Ukraine. Mr Johnson welcomed Mr Trudeau, saying that Canada and the UK are at one on many things, particularly, he said, in their stand against Russian President Vladimir Putin's aggression in Ukraine. Mr Trudeau has said repeatedly that sanctions are the best way for the West to target Russia, but NATO has been facing increasing pressure from Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky to do more to help. He's been calling for a no-fly zone to be introduced to protect civilians, but it's a plea that's so far been rejected. The UK government has also come under fire for its policies on welcoming Ukrainian refugees. Activists and opposition MPs have criticised the visa system that's been launched as being too strict and too selective, but Prime Minister Boris Johnson said after this meeting that controls are needed and that checks on who is coming in are sensible, he said. Well, following that meeting, Canada's Prime Minister then went on to Windsor Castle to meet with Her Majesty the Queen in her first in-person meeting since she was confirmed to have contracted COVID-19. The monarch greeted Mr Trudeau in front of a vase of blue and yellow flowers in what's being seen as a possible message of support for Ukraine. Laura Macon-Isherwood, SABC News, London.